Um,
There you go. Thanks.
okay. Since I'm the elder statesman on the panel, I still use Facebook for a lot of things. So I think to start, if you are new and you don't have a business Facebook, that's important to do. It's fairly an easy process to create a business page. And the reason I think you want to have your personal page, create your business page, is because then you can invite whoever is in your Facebook friends list to like your business page. And that could start with like 100 people, and then your goal is just to be promoting that business side of the page. But you have to do it. You have to have a personal page first. So that's how that works. I wanted to touch on today just a couple of things about creating groups. So an agent in our office and myself, when the pandemic started, we decided to just we were like, why don't we create a Facebook group so that people will, know where to go buy toilet paper, right? And it was just a very simple thing. We just thought between us and maybe our couple of hundred friends, between the both of us, we would just kind of create this small group. And so we called it Resources, or we call it Resources in Corpus Christi. So we created a group to just be like, hey, Sam's just got a big stock of Lysol or whatever it was. It was really pandemic driven. We started with just a couple of hundred people. We invited some of our friends and our coworkers and our associates in the real estate industry. But we decided to make it real estate neutral, right? We were not creating the page to promote our real estate business or anything like that. We were really just doing it as a community service. So the page started to really grow. And so we started to get a lot of requests for people to join. And then honestly, during the first 6 months of the pandemic, it really became a full-time job for us. I mean, we were literally like constantly on the page posting, constantly approving posts, constantly having people want to join. And so about a year in, we had 12,000 members in the group. Here 2 years later, and I'll share my screen with you real quick. So you can see that it's very rudimentary, right? It's just called Be Kind was our cover photo. And we created a private group, not a public group. And 2 years later, after the pandemic, we're at almost 24,000 members. So that's a lot of people, and that's a lot of posts. So it does require some administrative work, right? And I just say this because I want to encourage you guys to, now it's turned into a resources page. So if you look at this first page, people looking for cascarones, somebody's looking for pan de polvo. It just really just started to turn into this page where everybody goes and posts. Somebody needs a first grade tutor. We do let people that do like craft work sell things, but we're not a buy and sell page. We're not a car page. We're not a pet page, right? But we were just trying in the throes of the pandemic that people were sitting at home making pillows or doing stuff on their Cricut or whatever, to allow them to, maybe try to make some extra money because people were sitting at home not being able to work. So I'm going to just give you this one example and I'll get off the page. But yesterday I posted this 13 hours ago. Somebody asked me where could they find cascarones. I was like, I have no idea, but I'll post it. So if you can look here on the insides, we reached over 1,500 people, and we have 32 comments. And if you just look at the comments, I think what fascinates me about the page is how willing people are to just come on and I saw them here, they're over here, go get them here. This is how much they are. I mean, people just go crazy. It surprised me in the very beginning that people were so willing to help and so willing to be a part of this group. This one, 22 hours ago, somebody posted for a pet groomer. She got 1,500 on her post reach and, has 4 or 5 people to choose from. So I share that with you really only to say that if you have an interest outside of real estate, for example, you're a crafter, or, a lot of people do make t-shirts, sew, bake, create a Facebook group that's not necessarily real estate oriented, but that can widen your sphere of influence. I guess that's really the point. So Joe is from Denmark, right? She's not even from the United States. She's lived here and been married now for many years. And so our sphere of influence was very small, comparatively speaking. Obviously, between the two of us, we didn't know 25,000 people in Corpus Christi. So now our sphere of influence has grown. And when we get to a point where it's Christmas or it's Easter, I will post a graphic that says, you know, Happy Easter, and I'll put Remax Elite. So at whatever point I feel it's appropriate, I'm not always pushing real estate stuff, but I will put informational things about real estate. For example, we got a notice yesterday that our appraisers are starting to go out to do our annual appraisal on our homes. I'll post something like that. So both people now know that Joe and I sell real estate for Remax Elite and that we're in the industry. And so we will get messages, somebody saying, hey, how do I buy a house? What can I do? So we're very careful to keep those types of inquiries to ourselves. Like, you know, Joe takes care of all of that. I don't. But a small group page could turn into, again, we were at 200 members our first 2 months to 24,000 members in 2 years. And it's just become the page that people go to. I thought it was fascinating. So for example, Veronica in our office is bilingual and she's primarily does Spanish speaking clients. So I said, well, why don't you create a page like that for Spanish speaking clients, right? Hey, if they feel they have a comfort level with that language, then create a group page that's a resource page for them. If you like pets, create something about pets. So there's another way to increase your sphere of influence. It's helpful if your profile picture has Remax Elite on the profile picture, because obviously that pops up every time. But just know that it can turn into some work. As for us, it did turn into, I had to recruit my daughter to help us administrate the page. It turned into a big thing. But I think it's a good way to increase your sphere of influence for those of us that go, you know, we don't know that many people, or I'm not from here, I didn't grow up here. That's an easy way, and you'd be so surprised at how many people are willing to give their time and their insight. I think people like to recommend people that they like. Handyman service, a fence builder, a roofer, whatever. And the people that use the page are more apt to call somebody from there, right? And then of course, the next day I get 50 roofers that want to join the page. And so, you know, it just continues. But that's one thing I wanted to talk about. So I would encourage you, if you're taking notes, to just write down, create some sort of group that you might be interested in, or even partner up with somebody in your office and say, hey, you know, maybe we do a page about this thing that we like. You like fashion, you like jewelry, whatever it is. You'd be surprised how many people will piggyback onto that. So that was my first topic. And then my second one about posting is a little bit more about what not to post as opposed to what to post. So I sent Mac an example yesterday of a post that I saw, and I think the agent it's not one of our agents, but it was well-intentioned, right? She's like, just closed. I don't want to show it to you guys because the name is on there, but you know, just closed. Thank you, Kimberly and Gary, you know, for allowing me to help you. She puts a picture of Kimberly and Gary. She puts a picture of the house, and she puts a picture of and she writes the address in text, 1438 Main Street. So I think that we need to be cautious about doing things like that because we're, you know, maybe, so that's just confidential information, right? So now we know that Gary and Kim live on Main Street. And she also types in the text, have fun in your vacation home. So if I'm a robber, right, I'm a burglar, I'm like, oh, Gary and Kim are not going to be there all the time. I know exactly where they live. If maybe Kim has been in a, or even Gary in a relationship where they, you know, have had problems with an ex-spouse, an ex whatever, a friend, now you've just literally given their name, address, not to mention their photo on your Facebook, just because you're trying to say, hey, I just closed the house. So again, I feel like her post was well-intentioned, but we need to be very cautious about keeping confidential information confidential, right? So I think it's important. I know we don't all do this, and I know it's kind of a spur of the moment thing when we're at the closing table, like, hey, can we take your picture? But we need to ask. I would like it if everybody in our offices had even an email that said, are part of your closing procedure that says, you know, at the closing table, we may want to take a picture. Do we have your permission to post that? Because they may be thinking, oh, she's just going to take the picture for herself so she has a remembrance of the closing, and then we go put it out on social. And you guys know that everything you put out on social is a screenshot away from going to hundreds of thousands of people. So it's not, they don't even have to be your friends. I'll tell you the way that I find out most things is because somebody sends me a screenshot. It's not even because I'm friends with the person or I see it myself. So I would just encourage you to be very cautious about the just closed photos and taking pictures of clients, and especially putting a complete physical address. I would never do that. There's no need for that. Or taking a picture in front of the house, you know, and the house numbers are showing. So just be careful with how you market and what you post. And then lastly, I feel like in general, and I know Norma's touched on this in our policy and procedure review, is that we need to remember that once you get the term realtor after your name, you're really considered a public figure, right? So people are watching what you do, and they're watching what you post, and they're watching how you behave. And so I'm all about having fun and, you know, going to a happy hour or whatever. But I can tell you that in my experience of recruiting, right? So one of my roles here is to be a recruiter. The first thing I do when I consider an agent is I go to their Facebook page. And if every picture I see is in a bar and every other picture I see is at the beach and every other, you know, I'm like, okay, when is this person working? I'll tell you that even though that might not be the entire picture of who that person is, it influences my decision making. So if you're trying to vie for a client and you're in for a listing agreement and it's you and 3 other agents, don't think that those clients are not going to Google you and find you on your social. And so be cautious of the pictures that you put up. Just remember, everybody's watching. I'm not saying you have to be, you know, taking pictures in church every Sunday, but just be cautious about that so that you're putting together a professional profile across all of your social media, because you know what you post in Facebook on a story immediately gets pushed to Instagram, right? So you're not even thinking about it. You're like, oh, I'm just going to show my friends where I was, and then those things can get inflamed. So I would just be mindful of the policy and procedure manual on that. Be sure you're following what the rule is, and just portraying the Remax Elite piece to the highest level, because you know what one of us does, all of us do, and what one of us shows, all of us show. So we just kind of keep things pretty tight on that. And that's basically all I wanted to say about Facebook, because I know it's probably the oldest of the platforms. It's the one I'm most familiar with. For graphics and things like that, those of you that are my friends, the majority of the thing I use is Photify. I don't go to Canva and try to do things outside of the Remax platform for Photify. So if you see me post something, I've done it in Photify. And so that's where I mainly go, because it's already branded and I don't have to try to be super creative on Canva. Mainly because I don't have the time, and I know you guys are super busy and may not have the time. So I would, if you haven't learned how to use it or downloaded it, it's a great app. Those of you who has custom logos, you can upload your own logo, attach it to anything that you put, as long as you know you always are saying that you're with Remax Elite and promoting the brokerage as well, because there's some Trek rules around that. The other day, I have some friends at KW. I'll just give you this example, and their team name is the Coastal Chic is what they're called, Coastal Chic. So their big cover photo says Coastal Chic, and then everything says Coastal Chic, and nothing said KW. And because they're just personal friends of mine, I texted them and I was like, you know, you have to have your brokerage in there somewhere. Like, you can't just promote Coastal Chic. Who's the brokerage? And so I kind of just guided them, because they're friends of mine. I don't want them to get in trouble, that they need to add the KW logo there. They need to be sure their IABS is pinned to the top of their Facebook page, is one of the very first photos that somebody sees. All of those Trek rules, which if you just go to Trek and put advertising, it's all right there. It's super easy to find. And I sent them the rule to just try to help them out, because I didn't want to get them in trouble. So, or I didn't want them to get in trouble. But I do that for our agents as well. Sometimes they forget and they don't they don't steer everything back to the brokerage, and that's important from a consumer standpoint. So that's all I have today. I'll let the youngins say the fun stuff. But anyway.
Nina, thank you so much for all of that, Nina. I appreciate that. Would you mind putting your Facebook profile in the chat in case some of the agents want to?
Sure. Friend me. I need more friends. I don't have any real ones. They're all just on Facebook.
Right. I understand that. Appreciate that, Nina. That was awesome. And that group page, I've just like she's talking about, and most of us has done this for any period of time. You've seen where individuals take a group page that it's focused on just real estate and it does not get the traction. So something different like that group, for example, is fantastic. I've shared that before. Years ago, there was a guy out of the East Coast that posted historic homes in Pennsylvania. And that was the group, historic homes in Pennsylvania. And all he did was he'd post pictures of these homes, and every now and then he'd throw something in about real estate. And now on the flip side of that, I'll share with you, there's one here in the Valley called that I talk about sometimes. It's called Brownsville Living. And that's with Craig Grove. And when he started with that, he started out really smooth, then he got into politics, and he was losing people just as fast as he was gaining them. And he said he was going to stop that, which he did for a period of time, but now he's on the Tesla kick and losing people as well, because he's arguing with people about how things should be and et cetera. That's not the platform you want. The way Nina has it set up, I think, is perfect. It's definitely got some traction, a good amount of traction. That's an awesome job. I appreciate that, ma'am. And next, if we can get, like I said, when we started, we have some individuals that are going to share some tips and ideas. And then at the end, if anybody has anything else they want to throw in, we'll grab that as well if we could. So Gabino, you want to kick it up next, please?
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to, can you all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to talk about some of the apps. I know Nina mentioned, Fortify, some of the apps that are out there to create posts. You might be familiar with them. Mac, I sent you some images through WhatsApp. I can't share my my screen, but these are the apps that I have on my phone, and basically they'll help you do whatever post. Go ahead. So these are just apps that I use to create different types of posts. And honestly, if you want to post something, you want to create something, you see a post with, let's just say, a picture with motion, you see a GIF or, anything like that, a sticker that you might be able to use with, WhatsApp or anything like that. There's an app for that. So it's just a matter of looking into it, do a little Google search or go into YouTube and type in what information or what type of post you want to do. Some of the apps that I use is just like Nina mentioned, is Spotify. And that's, you can use the Remax branded images on that. Another app that is out there available is called the Pixelmotion. This one basically takes a picture that it's a still photo that you have taken, and you're able to kind of like go around an area or an image and make it move. So it takes a still photo, and let's say you have a picture of the ocean, and you want to make the water move or the sky. You can certainly do that. That's called Pixelmotion. Another one is called Sticker Maker. You can create stickers with that one that you can use on WhatsApp or on any social media platform, and you can bring them in, save those stickers in your phone or on your laptop, and then you can certainly use them to post. Another one, kind of like Canva, is called PixArt. There's different tools in PixArt than you can find on Canva. So you can certainly use PixArt for that. If you're into videos, you want to do videos and have a like a teleprompter, You can use Big View. It's BIGVU, Big View, and that you can have. It's like a teleprompter. You'll see the words scroll up, and that way when you're recording a video, you can be reading that from the screen. There's another one. It's templates for memes. So it's a meme generator. So if you have, you want to create a meme, something that's trending out there, they pretty much update them, pretty often. So you can use that one. Viva Video is a very nice one to do videos and to do editing on your videos. Viva Video. And of course, you all might be familiar with Ripple, RIPL, Ripple. That's it has a lot of images that are free to use. On some of these apps, they have a lot of features that you can use free, and then there's paid versions of them. So on some of these, I get the paid versions. Others, I just use the free ones. Most of them, when you use them, they're either going to have their logo or their information on there. For example, on Viva Video, if you just use the free one, it's going to have their little watermark on there. Same thing with Ripple on that. This one's a fun one, Madlibs, MADLIPZ. That you can do voiceover on different clips, whether it be cartoons or different video clips. You can do voiceover on those and post them. Giphy, GIPHY, creates a GIF or Jiffy. I don't know what it is, a GIF or a GIF on that one. Background eraser is a really nice one that I use. You take a picture of somebody, and with just it's kind of like a filter. It just erases all the background. So if you have your logo or anything like that, I've used that here on this one here. So you can erase the background on that. Background eraser. I also use, well, this is more on the social media part of it. I need to do a little more on it, but I've also used Anchor. Anchor is for creating podcasts. So you can use the free app on that, Anchor, if you want to start creating podcasts. And kind of like what Nina said also, it's kind of like creating a group on Facebook, and just put some information out there, regarding real estate, so you can use that. The other one is called Pixabay. On Pixabay, this is a lot of images that are basically royalty free. So if you're looking for an image of a key or a lock or a house or a desert or whatever, Pixabay would be the one that you could use for that. It helps you, it's free images to create other posts. Another one is Follywood, FOLLYWOOD, Follywood. This one also creates, you can do voiceover over, different videos. Bitmoji, everybody knows about that one. You can create your own emoji on that one. I believe you have to have Snapchat on that one. And of course, Boomerang, you can use Boomerang also for videos and all that. In terms of social media, I use Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat. I don't use it much, but it's there. TikTok, and also one that I haven't posted anything, but it does have a lot of good information on it. Nextdoor. I know Mac has talked about that one. It's for your neighborhood, post. Somebody's looking for a lost dog or anything like that. You can see that there. And of course, Pinterest. So those are, some of the apps that I use. I just wanted to go over all that. And if you all have any questions on any of those, you can call me or send me a message.
Awesome. Thanks, Gavino. On the screen, you guys can see that's the screenshots that he sent me with the apps. If you want to grab that. That's some of the apps that he was talking about right there. So you can grab a screenshot of that real quick and have that. Speaking of screenshots, that's one of my favorite little things. Snippet. I snippet everything. If you have a class going on, I'm grabbing a picture someplace. I promise you. So many slides created that way. So many of them. Appreciate that. Awesome start. Way to go. All right. So next we have Terry.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So what I do with my social media, typically I time block about 2 hours, whether it be a Sunday or a Saturday evening, just depends. And as you all know, y'all can schedule Facebook posts on Facebook. You could also sync it to your Instagram. And for those of you that, well, you know what, I don't have time to create content, you all know there's a Remax Creative Share Inspire Collaborate group. Sometimes they share graphics there and you could upload your logo to that. Now, let's say you don't have time to sit down and create your social media content and schedule everything. Hootsuite, there's a 30-day free membership trial and it's $49 a month and they'll take care of that for you. Or you can hire somebody, I believe social media marketing, they charge about $500 a month or so. I used to do that back then. But every company is different. But also I wanna, remind you to do a call to action on your social media so you can get that response back from your who you're trying to reach out to. So for example, watch our story for, save this post, double tap if, grab this freebie, do a giveaway. Do a giveaway to those who are following you. Of course, not fellow realtors, but to those who are following you. Send DM if. So there's a lot of call to actions. You can get as creative as you want. But also I know that, there's posts out there, when to post for Facebook, when to post on Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. But really you want to go back to your back office on Facebook and go to your overview tab and see the engagement and then kind of tweak it from there. When are you getting the most views or the most responses? Is it 8 o'clock in the morning? Is it noon? Is it 4? Is it 10 o'clock? So that way you can engage with your audience. Same thing with Instagram. You go to the insights tab. That way you see, okay, when is there activity, on there, and get your BFFs, your close friends, say, hey, like this post, because if you like this post, it'll get up there on the feed, right? It's just, algorithm of social media. What else? I also suggest that you follow Tom Ferry, Katie Lance, Marky Lemons. They're really good people to follow for your social media to get new ideas. What's working, not here in the Rio Grande Valley, but what's working out there and what's working out for them. You want to think, okay, even follow agents from California, New York, maybe they have different ideas that we don't. We tend to, like Nina said, if someone's doing it, we're all going to do it, right? So we want to kind of like look outside the box and see what's working. I think as far as, what I use for like my social media, it is Ripple. I do use Word Swag as well. That's a good one. And usually, I like to post on my stories on Instagram because I know people are always watching those stories. It's like a little commercial. I haven't gone live in a while, but go live, talk about, if you're going to a real estate open house, do a 20-second live. You just want to like bait them, and you want to come see this house, give me a call. So that way you're engaging and trying to get that potential buyer. Or maybe somebody wants to sell their home, is watching you. Hey, you know what? I like how he or she works. So I'm going to give them a call and interview them. So, and I agree, post, yes, show yourself on the personal side, but also give them something of value, like a tip, a weekend tip or a Tuesday tip. And also hashtags on Instagram, use 10 to 12 hashtags because it'll show up on the feed on Instagram, when you're searching. All these are because they're hashtags, RGV, McAllen, for sale. It's not going to work on Facebook. Hashtags don't work on Facebook, but they do on Instagram. And create your own hashtag. You know, I know Gabino's like, hey, call Gabino, he's my realtor. I'm Terry Sipes, lifestyle realtor. So what's your hashtag? Do you have a logo? Brand yourself, you know, make yourself known. So I hope that helps, but you know, just constantly be on that story because you're like always popping out.
Awesome. Thanks, Terry. Appreciate that. And that having a personalized hashtag is, in my opinion, is important. Start pushing it out there as much as you can, and see what kind of training you can get going with that. Good input. And I like the names you threw out to follow. Some of those names you mentioned: Tom Ferry,
Katie Lance, and I know you've all probably seen her at the Remax Convention Center over in Vegas. I don't think she went this past year. Marky Lemons.
yes.
There's also, like, if you want to start doing video, I didn't mention this, but Elizabeth, I'll put it in the chat. But I have a selfie ring, but I couldn't find my cord. But yeah, invest on a selfie light ring if you're gonna go live. But I'll put it in here. And they have like free workshops. They do this for free because they want to catch you, and then they want you to pay for their monthly training. But you know, I'm like, no, I'm
Yes,
gonna do the free
absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Put it up there.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. And once again, Camino threw his contact information in there as well. One of the things that I would like to try to do with this, as long as everybody's okay, when this is over with, I'd like to go through it and pull up, because it is being recorded, pull some of those sites that were mentioned, and just create a list, and I'll put that out in our Facebook page for the different offices as well. I'd ask another individual to participate in this, but I did not get a response. But I see he's here, so let me just tag him real quick and see if he's actually just got his picture there, or is he actually participating? Matthew, are you there? Matthew? Nope.
I'm here.
Awesome.
I'm here at home managing babies right now, so that's why I was just getting on video.
Okay. All right. Do you have time to jump in?
What's up? Talk about social media.
Yes,
I
sir.
feel like a little bit of a hypocrite because I've been slacking a little bit. No, hold on. Daddy's talking. You can say hi. Say hi to everybody. Talk about making it personal on social media. There's your personal right there.
Yep.
Okay, Daddy, we'll talk to them. Okay. I love so much of what's already been shared. I think we covered a lot of stuff. Maybe I agree with the comment that Terry made about friending people from other areas. That's actually been super beneficial for me to see what other people are doing. We have some solid Remax agents in our referral network that do amazing job at their social media. So you definitely should go find them, follow them, go look at my friends list. I'm friends with a lot of them. There's just a lot of good stuff out there. So that's very inspirational. I also agree with the hashtags, and just, you know, I put it in my notes section of my phone. So every time I'm going to do a post or create posts, I can just copy and paste. So I'm consistently using the same ones. And that creates follows. I usually post to Instagram and then it feeds to Facebook. And so both of mine have hashtags, but yeah, they're really meant for Instagram. And then we saw Tom Ferry last, I guess it was 2 years ago now, in Houston. And he talked about how at one glance, somebody should be able to tell that you're a realtor on your pages. And so, you know, very first glance, it's not just enough to say, oh, I work for Remax Elite in your little profile info, but having stuff in your pictures, your banner pictures, having those branded to real estate, to being a realtor with Remax Elite. So I would say that. And then I've really been focused on my Google page because that was something that Tom Ferry talked about. And that was something where I created my Google business page. And so every time I post to social media, I also take that same picture and post it to my Google business page. And that is helpful just as like my cadence of what I do every single time. And that's actually, since I've gotten over 100 pictures on my Google business page, that has actually generated some Google business leads and people calling my number based on my Google business page. So if you guys haven't done that, do that, set that up, respond to every review that you get. What else?
Matthew, I think you do a good job, if you don't mind sharing, of asking for reviews. So to the Google My Business point, that was a big thing Tom Ferry said to work on, and it literally takes not even 10 minutes to just Google My Business and then how to set it up. It'll make
Yeah.
it happen. But if you don't mind sharing, I think you do your link tree, but also how you ask for reviews. You're good at calling.
I got that from I really stepped up my Google business page after seeing Tom Ferry, because he talked about that. And it was funny because when I was a solo agent, I had my Google business page set up at the Morgan office. And then when I joined the KB team, I set up another one at the KB team. So I have 2 pages, and I've kept them both because why not? More is better. But my Google business page, yeah, I tie that into, that's where I want most of my reviews to go. I don't mind if they go to my Zillow profile, my Facebook profile, all those other things, but I'm really driving reviews to my Google business page, because that's where a lot of people are starting to look when they're looking for something, right? They Google realtor in Corpus Christi or realtor in McAllen or wherever you're at. And if you're popping up in that feed with a good amount of reviews and pictures and operating hours, y'all, I know that everybody wants to shut their phone off at 8 p.m. and not answer anything before 9 a.m. and not work weekends. Like, we can get away with that. But I've gotten leads of people saying you looked available. And so my hours say 24 hours. Does that mean you have to answer your phone at 10 o'clock at night? No, but it shows availability, shows willingness to work. So how I do this, to what Nina was wanting me to share. So I created a Linktree link, which if you go to just linktree.com, that's linkttree.com, you can create basically a landing page where you can upload different links. And so mine is our website that they search from, my Google business page, my Zillow profile, my business Facebook page, my business, and sorry, call me. I put all those links on this Linktree page, and then that's the link that I share with people when I either first meet them, when I post on social media, when I post on the referral pages. It's a one-stop shop for people to connect with you, see your reviews, leave reviews, friend you on social media, so you're staying top of mind, all of that stuff. And so when I first created the Linktree link, I was trying to share that link with people, but it's a weird link that they give you. So I took my domain that I had already been paying for, MatthewForsterElite.com, and I use that domain for my Linktree. So when I share, hold on, one second. Sorry, I had to yell at my kids. When I share MatthewForsterElite.com, that takes them to all my social media and my reviews. So what I do in my closing, when they're done signing their documents and they're a new homeowner, is I say, hey, I have 2 questions for you. One question, if I'm sorry, losing my train of thought. When they're done signing, I say, hey, I have 2 questions for you guys. They say, okay. And I say, our industry is becoming more and more review based. If I send you guys a link to leave me a review, would you leave me a review? They always say yes. And then my second question is, you just bought a house, you're going to be moving sometime soon. So if within a week you forget to leave a review, do you mind if I remind you? Of course they say yes. So then right there, I send them the link to their text message to their phone, MatthewForsterElite.com. And I send that to them right away. And usually by the end of the day, I would probably say like 85, 90% of the people go and leave a review that day. I've only had to remind a few folks, and I've gotten tons of Google reviews. And then right when they leave a Google review, I respond to it. So that's my process. It's been successful so far in building my Google business page and also getting reviews and getting leads from that. So if you have additional questions about that or how to set that up, feel free to reach out. I'll put my link in the chat so you guys can see what that looks like.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Matthew.
Sorry for the crazy children in the background.
No problem. It's all right. Rather have him in the background than jumping all over the place right here. tell you what, I hope that helps in some areas. I want to share just a couple other little things with you. There's a lot of good content right there across the board, all the way across the board. And I want to just share a couple other little things with you if I could, if I can make this work. Let's go, there we go. All right, so what you, oh, there you go. What you see on the screen is called Hi Hello. And just to give you an example, what made me think about it was when Matthew was talking about those links. If this is something I just started using maybe a couple months, 2 or 3 months ago, but if I click on send, there's a QR code that comes up there, and you guys could scan that right quick. And what you get is you get my contact information, everything that I have inside this, right? But what it also allows you to do is it allows you to capture theirs as soon as they scan it. So you get their, right from their device, you get their name, their phone number, and their contact information. I was using this in Vegas. I've used it in several other places. The down on the bottom, besides the QR code, you can also email them if you wanted to, or you could actually send them a text. And if you send the text, it'll send a link is what it does, or an email. It'll just send a link back to your Hi Hello. And on here, the reason I wanted to show you when Matthew mentioned the links, if I go down here to edit, if I go to edit on this, there's all kinds of things you can put in here. I just have a few set up, but you have links, you have PDFs, so you can have your IABS in there. You get everything you need all set up in here if you wanted to. All ran through Hi Hello. And the initial part of this is it's free, right? And like I said, as soon as they scan that QR code, then it actually you actually capture their information as well, which is pretty cool, I think, in general. That's an app. Yes, it's yes. And if you scan it, it'll ask you if you want to set yours up and etc. So Hi Hello. Yes, that's it. All right. Anybody have anything else there?
Mac, just let me add quickly that I know that all of these things take time, right? Because we're not social media experts. And so the setup part of it takes a little time. You know, I think that just has to be something you get calendarized in your week, if it's, you know, or Sunday night or whatever, after your kids have gone to bed, and it's like, you know, give yourself 30, 45 minutes. The setup of it takes longer than the actual posting. And now the way the platforms work, you can post over multiple just by doing one thing. And then don't hesitate to use Megaphone in Mac Center. I, again, know can be a little cumbersome at first, but I had an agent that was paying $400 a month to have, you know, something automated post to her social. And I was like, you don't need to do that. Don't pay that money. Because it's included in the Mac Center. So, you know, you guys are a part of a franchise for a reason, and there's a lot of tools in there. I know it can be overwhelming, but just like pick one a month that you're going to work. If Photify is something that you want to do, say, okay, this month I'm going to focus on that. Next month it's going to be Megaphone. Next month it's going to be the other things, because it's all there and at no cost to you. So just understand. I mean, I think for those of you that have been with Remax, a franchise from the very beginning of your careers, may not understand how costly all of this stuff is outside of the realm of the franchise. I mean, if you have to just pay somebody to create a website for you that's searchable, it's thousands of dollars a month. I mean, it's probably $5,000 just at the upfront, but the maintenance fees are high. Somebody to post for your social, $400 or $500 a month. All of these things can be costly. And there's no need to spend money on it when it's already built into Mac Center. So when you get a minute, and I know it's hard and we're getting into a busy season, you know, just say, hey, first thing Monday morning, I'm going to get to the office, or I'm going to open my laptop and I'm just going to go look at it. And obviously in the learning tab at Mac Center, there's tons of videos on how to use it, but reach out to somebody. I mean, feel free to call me or call Matthew. I'm not an expert at Megaphone by any stretch, but I'm sure somebody in your office is better. Gavino's nodding his head like, yes, he uses it, maybe. So maybe that's the person to call down in the valley, but utilize the tools that you have, and that, you know, you're a part of a franchise for a reason. And Remax has spent a considerable amount of money to acquire these things for us. So we just have to get better at utilizing the tools and adopting them.
Thanks, Nina. Appreciate that. And that
Welcome.
actually takes us right where we need to go next here. Real quick, what I wanted to do, if I could, that's not what I wanted to do at all. Here we go.
You know, Mac,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to add to something that Nina said there in Mac Center Megaphone. There's also AdWorks there. So when you actually get a listing, you get a week of free advertising, every listing that you get. So look into that, and that's in Mac Center as well.
So if you want free advertising, all you got to do is get a listing. Awesome. Let's do that. Right? That sounds great. Absolutely sounds great. And that is, all those tools are there. And the same thing that Nina was talking about. I mean, this is not my first franchise, but in the previous one, there's so many tools available. Obviously, there's considerably more here, but tools available and agents don't use them. They'll go out and pay somebody to do something rather than trying to use what they have there. And we have everything pretty well set up within the system. And there's a lot of good help there. And I'm going to show you a couple other things real quick, and then we're going to jump into this. When we're talking about social media, this comes from the Momentum. This is in the handout that was in the calendar, so you guys should have access to it. If you don't, let me know and we can repost it for you. But it's in the calendar. Once again, when we do the company training, whatever handout Momentum has for it, we're going to plug that in so you guys have access to it even before the class, so you can take a look at it if you want to. Social media, increase your outreach, quick engagement. You have to participate in, right? It's just clicking on likes, which is pretty much all I've been doing over the last year or so. You need to engage, comments here and there, create that conversation. That's the whole idea behind it. You're trying to generate some leads out of it, and you want to work around that. Some of the basics in that handout, it actually covers what to post and when to post and etc. But some of those things change with time. So you need to take a look at what works for you. Monitor what's working so that you know that you're getting something out of it. I mentioned before Facebook Marketplace. I love Facebook Marketplace. Get great results out of it. And it doesn't cost anything to post anything out there. Throw it out there. Locals use it and investors use it. Craigslist. I found out about that from an investor years ago. People use those. It's not a social media platform, but it's still a good source for your listings. Your target audience. Who are you actually trying to reach? What are you trying to create? And when you look at some of the people, and I don't mean this in a bad way, I don't know of any within the company, but when you look at some real estate agents and what they post, it certainly makes you wonder what the heck they're selling. You know what I mean? It's crazy with some of the stuff they put out there. And what you post is a reflection of not just you, but those that work with you and the company as a brand. And you have the #1 brand out there in Remax. I would want, as an agent, we're talking about hashtags, for example, use Remax, use that, it's out there, and help drive that traffic to you. Key questions to ask. If you're trying to get set up with this, you're trying to do something different with it, in this handout, there's areas in there where you can take a look at what you want to work with, right? The demographics, who's your ideal client? What are you trying to do with it? What are you looking for out of those clients? And what platform are you going to use? You're not going to be able to use everything. There's absolutely no way. Somebody had mentioned, I think it was Gabino mentioned TikTok. There's real estate agents on TikTok that are just doing absolutely fantastic with it. Funny as all get out in most cases, right? So, but it drives traffic to them. It's not something I would probably do, but it's something that would certainly work if that's what you have. If that's your character, it works. They're funny. They're good to watch. I watch a lot of them. And I never posted anything there, but watch a lot of them. Understanding the social media platforms and what they're designed for. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, for example, understanding what they're designed for. LinkedIn is a more of a job or corporation or employment type thing than it is a platform, than it is anything else. But can you post out there? there's agents from the mission office that post on LinkedIn quite often. Duncan being one of them, post out there quite a bit on LinkedIn. There's groups within LinkedIn, just like there is in some of the other, like Facebook and et cetera. There's groups in there that you can get involved in and work with from there. I wanted to just touch base on a couple of these other here real quick. These you're building your brand, right? Must-haves. You're building your brand underneath the umbrella of the Remax Elite. Make sure that it's you. Make sure it's what you offer. Don't try to copy somebody else. Do you, right? Be you. That's it. And if you need help with it, talk to somebody. Let's see if we can't get that worked out. Brainstorm it a little bit and see what comes up. Build your brand. And on this one right here, for those of you that just as a reminder, your vision, your values, you. What is your vision? What are you trying to do with it? What do you want to say? What are you bringing to the table? And just like the group Nina was talking about, there was recently a John Cheplek and Pipes had Bill Pipes had a presentation they did. And on that presentation, one of the things Pipes talked about was the fact that you want to be the local expert. You want to be the local, so that hyper local, just like what Nina's group has there, that hyper local type stuff is, you want to build that. That's what people want to see. They want somebody to provide them some information. And it doesn't have to be real estate 24/7, as my kids used to say.
Mac, I just want to add to that
Yes.
word, if everybody could just write this down, because I found this very telling when we were at Tom Ferry, was he's like, you're the trusted advisor. So if you guys are writing anything, I think that's important to write down, because it really does lend itself to what you're talking about and what everybody's here is talking about. You're the trusted advisor, and everything that you put out on social should filter through that. That's what I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks. Appreciate that. And there's some that are really, really good at that, getting that information out there like that. Once again, the kind of content you create, the post, social media, what are you trying to do with it? There should be a purpose behind it. You're not just out there to have something to do. If that's the case, then we need to go back to Darren Hardy and start all over again. The content creation, when you take a look at it, identify your target audience all the time. Please identify what you're trying to do. How will you be valuable? What do you bring to the table with what you're trying to do on your social media? And take each platform different. Each one of them could be a little different than the other, but they should link back to you, your name, Remax Elite, and et cetera, and work from there. You should have everything together. When we talk about creation of content, and again, you can get ideas from this from different places. I'm going to throw a couple of those out here in just a second as well. I want the creation of content. Sometimes it's easier to take a look what others have, or what's the national day of the month or whatever it is. Every day has something, it seems like, that would tie in that you could post about, but others are doing that as well. So creating content. Take a look at this list real quick. There's so many different things you can do with this. Let me give one just real quick example. Neighborhood market report. You have access from texasrealestate.com, from Texas Realtors. If you'll go to research and click on market viewer, you can do a neighborhood report there. For example, you can do it by county, you can do it by city, you can do it by zip code. There's so many different reports you can pull off there, and it doesn't cost you anything. And it takes less than 5 minutes to actually generate the report. And then you can upload it into your social media or put it on a planned post. You can also pull that same thing, same type of report, more numbers basically, off of RPR. And so you want to be the source of information. The reason people come back to you is because they want to learn something from you, right? And you want to be able to work with that. Everything that's on this list can be done fairly quickly in this business if you'll allow it to be done that way, and make it worthwhile for them. Some of these you could actually set them up where they get a full report, so they have to click on this to get a full report, and then they're providing their information to you. You can use JotForm for that. That's one of the places to go to get that set up. real easy. Or you can put it on your website that way. If you're using Booj as a website, it has a block where you can actually set that up as well. Creating your content, once again, use video. We talked about video over and over and how much it benefits you. We want to make sure that we're doing that as much as possible. So when do you post? Now it tells you at the bottom, there's a little disclaimer there that tells you these things change, right? And you're also going to need to find out what works for you. But this is what Remax had when this momentum package was put together. And we're talking about, and this was 2020, I believe, that this one was done. The Facebook, any day at 11 o'clock is what they say was good. Now, I find Facebook posts early in the morning to work better, just for whatever reason. And it depends on, I think, the content and the audience that you're trying to get. That's the key issue. The audience, who are you actually trying to reach? But look at the different times. And this is all in that handout. So you can download the handout and go with it and fine tune yours so that you can take a look at it. LinkedIn, at least twice a week, no more than once per business day. No more. Why? Because it's designed for business. It's not a social media. Hey, take a look at what I had for dinner last night. You know, it's not one of those kind of things. We don't want to get into that. Matthew used something that most of us probably haven't heard that much of, and that's the cadence, posting cadence. And what we're talking about here is, when do you post? What's the rhythm that goes with it, if you will? Here you have Facebook Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, Instagram every day, right? And some of you are doing that. Again, you may not use all of these, but here's some ideas on what you could do. You don't want to hit everything every day. It just make it work for you. And then,
Can I add something to that, Mac?
Sure, yes.
Especially for the newer agents, like if you're at your spot in your career where you're really focused on building your social media and you have the time to do that, then do it for sure and get better at it and build the cadence and all that kind of stuff. But if you're new, or if you're just not doing social media at all right now, just do it. Just do it. Just get in the habit of doing it. Just do a video, just do a post and keep doing it. And then just get better at it. Because that's the thing, is like, especially with as much as we try to manage in our real.
Oh, you're muted again, Matthew. There you go.
You just need to start doing it. And then as you do it and you get in the cadence of doing it, then you can focus on, okay, maybe let me get better at my timing on it, or let me get better at the days I'm doing it, or let me get better at the content, right? You can improve from there, but part of social media is just starting it. Just do it. So
absolutely. Thanks. Appreciate that. All right, Todd, I want to share just a couple other little things with you. And on this new share, on this one, we're going to go to a website so you guys can take a look at a couple things. Some of these I've shared in the past with you, so you may be familiar with them. Some of you may not be, but and I'll throw it in the chat for you so you can grab it from there if you want to. But RETI is one of the sites that I follow. Craig Grant and them, they're the ones that run this. Craig Grant's a national instructor. In fact, everybody on here, they teach at NAR and all the different conferences and et cetera. But if you go to sections, for example, and this basic part's free, right? Because what they want you to do is sign up for their coaching, which you don't need to do. You can go to click on social media, just for an example, because that's what we're talking about today. And you can scroll down here, creating a posting calendar, posting with consistency, right? And I don't pay anything for this, and you wouldn't either. You just go to their website and click on these. And here's a video, an hour-long video on posting with consistency across multiple channels. It's reti.com is the website. They have, thought I posted that in there. There you go. They have information in there that you can actually use if you want to, and they cover all kinds of information in here. You even have CRMs or using Google. A lot of good information. They make a living off of this. Right. So they're trying to generate coaching, but you don't have to pay for that. And I don't mean to be rude toward them, but I've used this for several years just for information. One of the other ones that we've talked about from time to time is Agent Tech Mastery. And this lady is not a real estate agent. Her husband is in Canada. But if you're trying to get things set up with technology systems and you're trying to find out what's going on, she'll do a complimentary call with you and walk through what you have going on and what direction you need to go. And I offer you this only because there's not one box for everybody, right? You have to find out what you like and what works for you. So that's it. And we've got some awesome information just through the system, but these are all things you can get into, and in most cases you can do it for free. Like, for example, one of the questions that she gets a lot of is what's the best CRM, which is whichever one you'll use. I've also shared this one before. These are podcasts that Marky Lemons has. They're free. You can go to the website. It's her interviewing somebody else. They have all kinds of information on here. You can go back through them and listen to them from time to time, whatever you want to do. Once you sign up for it, you'll get a notice every time she does them. They're free, right? She's promoting herself as a speaker, which is, she's one of the national speakers. And you pull that information there, and they're podcasts about a variety of things. Somebody mentioned Katie Lance earlier, and this is one of her Instagram. This is her Instagram site, Get Social Smart, right? And she'll have free webinars and stuff on there as well. She covers the different parts of this. The Canva tips, I pull Canva tips from Marky and from Katie. I've listened to a lot of the Facebook information that Katie has on here as well. So you can get information from there that you might possibly use. And then the last social media site is this guy. If you're not following Jeremy Collins, I would recommend you just take a look at it. He is with the Remax office, works with the Remax, with the Remax office, and became the creative director for him. He does videos all the time. Here's real estate agent branding. This was on the 4th. He did this one, but he had this one here, growing your upscale social network. He does videos all the time to help other agents stay in tune with what's going on. He also has this luxury real estate market, but I will tell you again, he's another one. He went from starting out at a Remax office to now he's doing his own coaching and all this good stuff. So that's his goal, is to get you into that. I don't do that, but I do follow him and listen to the webinars that he does. And back to remax.net. If you go into Remax and up here at the top, you just type in what you're looking for. If you look for social media, Megaphone is one of the first ones that pops up, right? But you have others in here, like this one here was April the 11th, building your digital presence and generating leads. That's what we're talking about today, right? And right there's a little video for you. You can click on it and take it from there. There's so much in here that you can do if you'll just take the time to do it. And it doesn't hurt once in a while to click on one of these, let it run in the background while you're working on something else. When you hear something, stop it, go back. It's a recorded webinar. So you can, discovering Megaphone is a real nice one to actually go through with you. So you can use that one. And the last one I'll share with you is this. Has absolutely nothing to do with social media. Has absolutely nothing to do with social media. No, Gabino. No, not right now. The has nothing to do with social media. However, it's about tech. And this is through Texas Realtors. Tech Team 1 is one of our benefits through Texas Realtors. And they will actually, if you're having a tech issue or have questions, they are there to help. In some cases, I've been told what they do is they can do the remote diagnostics. They can check out your system to make sure it's working the way it's supposed to, or if you're having problems with it, they have some of those things there for you. And it's a benefit through Texas Realtors. Whew. Everybody okay? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they would like to add?
I'd just like to throw something in there. And I made a note of something that I was going to mention, and then I got a text message just about that as well. I'd like to let everybody know, if you need help with any of your social media posts or anything like that, if you want to do even like an interview or create a video, or we can interview somebody, or even if you just want me to hold your phone while you do a walkthrough of a house, anything that I can help you with, just give me a call. Sometimes we need that extra hand or, a little word of advice or anything like that. So we can certainly do something together if anybody, wants to do anything. I'm here.
Awesome. Thanks, Karina. So I have one last little thing I want to throw in here for you. If you have not done this, this was talked about earlier. If you have not done this, please go in and create a Google business page. And in doing so, all you do is you click on the little Google Apps dots up here at the top, and you can go scroll down to find Google Business. That's this little one right here, business profile. You click on that and you create a business profile. When they first started with this, they would not, it had to be a business mailing address, the whole shooting match. Today, my understanding is they will allow you to use your home address as long as you say it's a business, right? And the way they verify that it's working is they send you a card, and you have to come back in, you log in, and you put this code in, and now you're up and running. And if you're on there, what it'll allow you to do is it'll actually, you can create a website. You can do like Matthew was talking about. I'm going to click on this one just real quick, just to give you a quick idea. If you're on here, you can go in here and create reviews right here. Share the review form, and there's the link for the review. It'll drive them right to your Google business page. You guys seeing that? Right? So it'll drive them right to your Google business page. And you can take that and you put it on Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, whatever you want to do. You can share that link through an email if you wanted to. And one of the things recently, I had taken a webinar that was talking about building this. In fact, it was from Jeremy Collins that I was showing earlier. And one of the things that he had addressed in here was adding photos, adding comments, go in here and put things in here. And the more of that you do, the more Google juice is what a lot of them call it. The more Google juice you get, so the more activity you get. And the more activity you get will allow your business that you have designated there to show up. Now, if you're going to use your home address, I would be real careful about having it viewable on maps. I probably would not do that. Years ago, back in the 80s, when mapping first came out, there was a big concern because people could actually identify where you lived and all this good stuff. In the Marine Corps, we had actually sent out notices to everybody not to put that information out to the public. And I would encourage you to think about that if you're going to use your home address for some of this, but you can. If you're using the office address, like the one in Harlingen, for example, several of us have it set up where we have that office address, Suite 1A. Well, it's going to come to the office, right? And you're going to get it in your mailbox, and then you just respond to it. There is no Suite 1A. There's a Suite 1 and a Suite 2, right? There is no 1A, but it's still going to come to the office. Does that make sense? And that's what they're doing in a lot of the larger offices as well. And in fact, in Mission, we had talked about that when we first started over there. But you can go in and you can create your website right here on the left-hand side on here. It's real easy to work with, if you'll just use it. But you have to go in and create it. You have to get it started. Anybody have any questions there? Again, you're trying to create something that's going to generate some extra business for you. How many of you have recently heard that the market's changing? Yes? Anybody heard that? And most of the time, the people you listen to, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but John Cheplack and Bill Pipes, when they were talking, that was, well, the market's changing. You need to take our mastery program so you can learn how to handle this. I'm not into that. I'm into the market is changing a little bit. Interest rates are going up. We're seeing some things. Foreclosures are maybe a little more than what was expected. The market is changing. We need to know that. We need to be able to address it. We need to be able to work with it. But the biggest thing is you need to work. And most of you here were not in the business in 2005, 6, 7, 8, when everything tanked. And back then, one of the things was people would ask my wife, how's the real estate market? Because it was pretty tough. And they'd ask her, how's the real estate market? And her response was, if you've been working, it's not a problem. If you get that, If you've been working, it's not a problem. And going forward, that's what we have to. You don't need to go pay somebody $4,000 or $5,000 for coaching. You can do whatever you want to do, but you don't need to if you just do some of the things we talked about today, in my opinion. Everybody good? All right. Any other questions or comments?
You said the market is changing for good or for worse? But what, because I have seen it's still crazy. There's listings that are like there's a listing that some agent, top producer from the other company just listed at 471 square foot. The price of $471. That's I don't know. I have not seen it in so far. In fact, one condo in I don't know, the most expensive place that I believe is the tower in South Padre Island, the green one. I don't know which one is
Sapphire.
Sapphire. They don't even sell at that price, and
Right.
it's.
Yeah.
I'd like to add something, Mac, real quick. So I do get a lot of questions about 2008. I think because people know I'm old and I was here during that time.
Don't say
I
that.
get it, but so I for those of you that don't know, and Mac, I can maybe share. I'd have to jump over to Facebook, but anyway, there was an article about 2008, comparatively speaking. So I think that first and foremost, when people come to us and go, "Oh my gosh, interest rates are going up. Oh my God, the house prices are going up. Oh my gosh, my neighbor this and my cousin that, and my friend that's a realtor in Austin," that our job is always, as much as possible, to just kind of maintain composure, right? So we can't get inflamed when people are inflamed, because we just make it bigger than it is. So we have to be informed, of course, but I think what we have to say is that when they say, "Oh, the bubble's going to burst," like it did in 2008, is just to remember that in 2008, those issues of the market at that time were lending issues. That was lender based. The reason for the high prices now is very, very simple. It's supply versus demand, right? Low supply, demand is high, and it basically is as simple as that. Most people know the term supply versus demand. So I always say, like, if you wanted to buy a Louis Vuitton purse and there were only 10 left, people are willing to pay 10 times what it's worth because there's only 10. So I try to, coach our agents here in Corpus, but you guys as well, to relate it to something that's relatable to the client, right? Because if they've never bought a home, all they're hearing the minute they say, "Hey, we're out looking at houses with Gamino," "Oh my God, don't do this. And what about that?" And this, and they start hearing all this stuff. So we've got to be the ones that really keep it calm. Say the reason prices are high is supply versus demand, but we're going to find you the house that you want. It might take us a little more time. And it always goes back to what Mac teaches and Norma teaches and all of us claim, is that it's just setting proper expectations, right? The expectation is, we may not get the first one we go for. We may not get the second. We're going to try our best. We're going to get you the one that's right for you. Will come to you, and kind of cut the noise out, because I heard an interview the other day, and this very well-known singer says, "I think our brains were not made to have so much noise and so much coming at it at all times, and we get overwhelmed." So I would just encourage you, there's crazy stuff happening. We know that. But if a customer comes and Matthew goes, "Nina, I want to buy this house and it's at $400 a foot." And I go, "Oh my God, $400 a foot? I mean, are they crazy? What are they doing?" You see what I mean? I'm buying into the game. And then they're like, "It's crazy, right?" And then so there goes the conversation. So you go, you know what? You can put a price on anything. It's perception. If they perceive that it's worth 400 and they're going to pay it.
Yes,
they'll pay
yes,
it.
ma'am.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all I wanted to add, so that, we all kind of keep a calm head. Calmer heads always prevail.
Yeah, but that's easier said than done. Yeah. No.
Not for me. No, I'm just kidding.
And so another part of that, just real quick, is the expectations that we establish with the consumer. If we let them know, let's take a first-time home buyer, for example, as soon as they tell somebody they're looking at buying a home, they're going to get all this negative nonsense. And so we need to let them know that up front. As soon as you tell somebody you're trying to sell your home, they're going to tell you your home's worth double what you think it is, right? So we need to let them know that up front. As soon as we talk to them, let them know there's all kinds of noise out there, and we just need to eliminate that and stay focused on what our goal is. And the same with them. Focus on your goal. Appreciate that, Nina. That's awesome. Last little thing. What is your job? Because it may not be a little thing. What was that, Karina? What's your job?
Oh, I was just thinking, real estate agent, like so
Oh,
many things are involved.
perfect. Actually, that's absolutely perfect. That's exactly what you are. You're a real estate agent. And the reason I'm throwing this out is there was an agent not in the valley here who got a cease and desist letter from NAR because on her social media, she posted her job as a realtor. And realtor is an association. It's not a job. You're a real estate agent, right? And it was the first time, I mean, I know there's a difference. I've talked about there being a difference before, but I didn't know that NAR was taking it so far as to sending people cease and desist letters, because if you don't, then what's next? You got the lawsuit action going on. So just make sure everything says what it's supposed to be. Yes, you're a realtor, but your job is real estate. You're a licensed real estate agent, right? So, and you guys are doing great. I can tell that because of zip forms, and I got a ton of work to do today. Appreciate that. And I will get everything cleared out today for some of you. It's been a crazy couple days, but we'll be good to go. Anybody have anything else? Nope. All right, we have new agents training starting at 1 o'clock. That's business planning. We'll pick that up at 1 o'clock. Until then, we'll write some contracts. Please.
Thanks, Mike.
Sure.